For the last step of our project, we are going to add some visual texture, so some lines that make it look like wood on the table. So what we're going to do is in two spots, okay, we're going to add a oval or a circle. So I'm going to do an oval here, and it's a really skinny and long oval. And then here I'm going to add a little circle. All right. Now, after we add these two things, all we're going to do is some horizontal lines, okay? But we're going to start with one that goes right at whatever shape is lower. So this one's higher, this one's lower. And what we want to do is we want to react to that, and we're not going to touch it. We're just going to go around it, okay? So then I'm going to start on this side. And when I get to this, I'm going to go around that too. And so we're just going to add some lines. And what I want to do with this one now is I'm going to make another circle. And if it gets close to the apple, we stop. We don't want to go inside of the apple. So right now it looks like a fried egg. I'm going to make one more shape around it. Okay. And then the last thing is we're going to keep going with this line. Okay. And now when I get to the next one, I'm going to go in between here, but I have to go around this shape. Okay. And then it gets a little bit harder when we get up by the apples. So some of you might have been by the apples already, so this is why we're watching it first. When I get to an apple, I stop. Imagine that it wasn't there. I wouldn't want to go through this, so I go around it. And then down. And then once we get up a little bit higher, we're just going to pretend like the apples. Like we're going on the other side here. So these can just be lines. Okay. And now what we end up with is a little pattern that kind of looks like wood. And if we want to, I could add a smaller circle there. Okay. So nothing too crazy. You could just do horizontal lines even if that's too hard. The last thing is we're going to add brown now to make it look like a wood table or your desk. Okay. I'm going to go around my apples and outline. And we're only going to color the table. We're not doing anything to the background. So right now I'm just outlining my apples, going around the apples. Okay. And after I have that done, then I'm going to carefully color the rest of the table. So you'll notice I'm holding the paper down with my other hand, especially when I get to the bottom so that it doesn't curl or fold or wrinkle. And then when I get all the way to the edge, I go vertical or up and down. Okay. Going nice and slow. And you'll notice I did those lines with pen. You can do it with pencil. If you have a pen, you can do it with pencil first and then go over those lines with pen. But pencil is really just fine. So when you're all done, it's just a little added something. My virtual students are the only ones doing that design. So just something different to try and challenge you guys with. But this is your finished project. So when you get this far, you are all done. And I will also put a link in there for you to next week, not this week, but I'll put a link in there next week for you to submit. So this is the only step this week. My in-person students are taking a little bit, so I want to get them caught up. So this week, just do the table and then you're done. Next week, we'll submit.